update. My aunt tried to have me arrested. I'm still in shock. Original story. 4 nights ago, I, 21 male, went over aunt's house to do some work in their garage around the back of the house. I literally didn't hear any of the things that went down. I had my earphones on and also loud machine. My cousin, 27 male, came home high off his butt, I guess, but he got crazy. He usually does when he is on something hard. They started fighting and he got violent and loud. My aunt's friend was there at the house too, so she saw everything. My cousin was hitting his own mom, and he locked her in the bathroom just for the heck of it. Around then, her friend took off to her house to call the cops. They got there, and by the time I was leaving the garage, they were already talking to my aunt. I only walked to the front because I saw the cop car outside. Then she freaking told the cops I did that to her. Then they were asking me questions. Meanwhile, my aunt is freaking crying and accusing me of getting violent. I'm panicking and stuff, so that starts making me seem guilty, and I'm messing up everything I say. Stuttering even. By the way, my cousin took off before they even came, so it wasn't like he was there anymore. These cops are straight up getting ready to take me in. The only thing that saved me was my aunt's friend who came back, and she confirmed it wasn't me, but my cousin instead. I don't know how much longer we were there with the cops, but it felt like forever. And by the time they left, my hands were still shaking. But man, I just felt the betrayal too from my aunt. She tried to have me arrested to cover her own craphead son just after he freaking beat her and locked her in the bathroom. I'm so mad. My mom is pissed off at her, so are her other sisters. But they're trying to set us up to talk again to clear things up. But what is there to clear up? She tried to ruin my life just because she messed up as a mother. My family's thinking we should make up, and I don't think they're gonna let this go. What should I do? Edit. My mom's the only one on my side, by the way. She supports if I never want to see my aunt again. The rest of my family is on wanting us to make up already and move on. Now for the top advice before reading the update. Do not forgive and do not forget. Make it clear that you're done with her, for good. Someone who will pull something like that is literally dangerous to you. Explain this to your mother, and make it very clear that it isn't something fixable, and lay it out that you feel like she's prioritizing someone who lied about something so serious over her victim. It might also be worth contacting the police and seeing if you can pursue her for filing a false report. Lucky my mom, the only one who says she could be dead to me if that's what I want. It's everyone else who are saying we should make up, since she was just panicking in the moment. Freaking bullcrap. This is them making you a list of who you no longer need to have in your life. Tell them to do one then. Add them to the dead to me list with your aunt. I cut every single person off that supported my falsely accusing ex without ever saying a word to them. And I can say it's made a single dent in my life. Only room for better people to take their place. Can you file charges for a false police report? I don't know how that works, since her friend was the one who called the cops and said what my cousin was doing. My aunt just lied about who. But lied by implicating you. I'm not sure how you would do that, but maybe someone else will know. If she had succeeded, she could have really ruined your life. I'd start by not volunteering to do work at your aunt's house anymore, and follow that up by open avoidance of her in the future. She can decline to prosecute her son for his actions, but attempting to push them onto you is a hard no. This is no contact territory. Whether he's charged or not is completely out of his mom's hands. The DA decides who to prosecute or not prosecute. They may decide to go ahead with it regardless of how she feels. He violated his parole anyways, so he's likely getting locked back up again regardless, I think. And now for the update. So, seems like my family decided to escalate things a few days ago. I was tricked into coming to my cousin's house, different cousin, to play video games, and my aunt was there with everyone else. They wanted us to talk privately, but I said to hell with that. They really tried to freaking ambush me into talking to her that I couldn't with them. The only thing I told my aunt is that she is dead to me, and that I've given myself time to think about this. And to not ever try to talk to me again because she could have wrecked my whole life with her lies. Job, school, everything. That crap would follow me forever. After I left, I told everybody else that was there I'm not talking to them either. And now they're getting a lot of crap from my mom and my grandma. I agree with you guys that now going no contact is the only way they'll leave me alone. At least till they never push it again. But I'm officially done with her. It stings still, to be honest. Never thought someone in my family would go that low to get me arrested over something I didn't do and ruin my whole life. Doesn't matter if it was to protect her own kid. He's a freaking piece of turd addict, and I'm glad he's getting locked up again anyway since he violated his parole doing that. She did all of that for nothing in the end. I know some people kept saying to press charges on her for making a false police report or whatever it's called, but to be honest, I don't want to deal with that drama anymore. Don't want to waste my energy on a situation that already drained me so much. Still, thanks for the advice and for listening. I'm so sorry your piece of crap family did this to you. Now you know the ones that you can trust are your mom and grandma. Keep them close and ban everyone else. Can't believe it either. They're not the ones who almost got taken by the cops and have that on record to follow them around all their lives. I know, it's horrific. I don't know what race you are, but all I can think of is what if you had been black and the police hadn't believed your neighbor at all and arrested you anyway? You'd have ended up behind bars for something you didn't do. Happens all the time. If you're able to take legal action against the aunt for the false accusation, I would personally. Whatever you decide, I hope you take care and find a way to heal from this massive betrayal from your family. We're white, but trust me, I know high chances it would have been a totally different story. I'd just rather not get involved more at this point. I want to forget about it. As someone who had a false accusation chase her out of an entire career, I'm here to tell you you're doing the right thing. Thanks. You think it better that I'm just not part of that at all. Can't forgive her for what she tried to do to me. Consider suing her. Seriously. The false report she filed is crime in and of itself, and could screw you over. I know you said you don't want to deal with it anymore, but your future is kind of on the line here. Think of it this way. Your aunt enables her addict son by doing what she does, including what she did to you, and you'll be enabling her behavior by not making sure she faces consequences and getting your record clean again. Not really. Cops already know it was my cousin and he's been arrested. Next story is titled, Update. My mom stole $6,000 from me claiming I owe it to her. Original story. She's 50 female and I'm 17 female. She lost her job in March of this year and was behind on rent/bills. So without asking me or telling me, she just emptied my bank account. I'm a minor in the US. When I confronted her, she told me I owed it to her for her struggles raising me as a single parent. The thing is, I'm headed to college in a month, and that money was my living expense for the entire year. It was money I had earned through competitions and awards. Not to mention, she isn't contributing a penny towards my education. And after paying for tuition, I now no longer have any way to support myself without a loan. Not to mention I already contributed around $2,500 in rent over the past few months since she was laid off, and she has around $45,000 in her own savings account. She had no reason to withdraw from mine. Of course, she isn't paying me back. Never does, even though she claims she will. No one seems to be taking me seriously. I called family, the police station, etc., but everyone is just dismissing me for being overdramatic. I feel so hurt and betrayed by her actions. She has a history of being very verbally/physically abusive, but this is just unfathomable. I can't rationalize how my own mother could steal from me. How do I deal with these emotions? I'm so lost and I can't think. Edit to Ed. I also can't set up my own account until I'm 18, so even if I do earn any money, I know exactly where it's going to go for the fall and most of the spring semester. Now for the top advice before reading the update. Well, when you haven't spoken to her in 10 years, she'll have no one to blame but herself. I'm guessing this is just the tip of the iceberg? Just a tip, but I think it's the straw that broke the camel's back. You need to lock down your credit ASAP. This exactly. My mother did pretty much the exact same thing. The minute I turned 18, she opened multiple credit cards with my social security number and racked up $6,000 in debt. I had to pay it off myself because I needed better credit for an apartment and she wouldn't do it fast enough. It's screwed. You're going to college, right? You may have to open your own student checking account. Go to your college to talk about this. Unfortunately, you also need to have your mails sent to you instead of the address you share with your mother. As a parent, I'm mortified that your mother did this to you. I'm so sorry. I looked at student checking accounts, but until I'm 18, my mom has to co-sign and can withdraw funds. I would recommend talking to your local bank manager as well. I opened my first checking account when I was 16, without a co-signer/adult, because my mom was similar, through US Bank. I had money put into a saving account growing up and never actually saw it. When I got my first job, I refused to use the same savings account. I didn't trust my mom having access to it. I think they can approve it at their own discretion. Thank you so much. This gives me hope. I'll visit my local Chase at US Bank tomorrow to see if they can make an exception. And now for the update. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to everyone who took the time to read my post and give me advice. There were too many comments to respond to, but I did read everyone, and my heart goes out to those who shared similar stories. A lot has happened in the past few days. The day after I posted, my mom broke the lock in my bedroom door and accused me of planning unspeakable things to her in conjunction with my professor. Which is not only false, but so laughably outlandish that I finally called my university as many here suggested. Their police department got me out the same day and put me in a temporary shelter for 2 days before moving me temporarily to university dorms. My mom did put up a fight while I was leaving and accused me of being a night worker. She claimed evidence of my illegal activities could be found on my computer, iPad, and phone, all currently in police custody. I did give the police permission to look through my devices and even gave them my passwords to everything, but the relentless daily interrogations have really worn me down. Thankfully, my university gave me a loaner laptop so I'm able to resume classes. I also found out that I won a scholarship I had applied for a while back and will be receiving a check worth $10,000 in the next week. Until I find permanent housing, I plan to put a hold on my mail so my mom can't get her hands on that money. Thank you so much to everyone who so graciously offered to donate, but it looks like I will now be able to afford all my tuition with a little left over. Of course, I still miss my mom. And it takes everything in me not to respond to the emails she sends me asking if I'm safe and telling me she loves me. I'm trying to stay strong through it all, but I know deep down I did the right thing. There's still a lot that I have to figure out, like opening my bank account with no access to any official documents or a phone, but I'm hoping to iron out those kinks within the next month or so, and I'll post an update again when my situation is more stable. Now for the last story. My 33 female twin sister has cost me my best friend 3 times, and now I want her out of my life at my wedding. We often have dramas, but I'll tell you of 3. The first time I can remember her doing this was when we were 17. Me and my best friend Beth had just discovered that her father, the local cop, was cheating on his wife. We caught him red-handed, and Beth asked me not to say anything until she decided whether or not to tell her mother. Later that night, I was dropping off other friends after the drama and returning home. Beth was waiting for me at my house with my sister, but I didn't know, and my sister called me, not warning me she had me on speaker. My sister said that Beth's father, the cop, had just pulled her over and fined her for a fake traffic offense. I thought my sister was still in the car, but she was at home. The cop likely did this because of what we discovered. I told her, fine. If he wants to play that game, we will expose what we know. I don't know why I said it. I never would betray Beth, and I never intended to tell anyone. And my best friend was gutted, and eventually defriended me because of what I said. My sister never apologized for not telling me I was on speaker. She's done this several times since, but back to the main story. The second best friend I lost happened when we were 25. My best friend Kate and I were on a single girls trip because her long-term boyfriend of 8 years had recently dumped her, and I was trying to get away for a weekend to unwind. We went to a rodeo, and I had arranged to stay at my sister's on the way. We get to my sister's to discover that Kate's ex was at my sister's house. She lives in a town 4 hours away, and I was shocked. We had essentially walked into an ambush. I was horrified and offered to take Kate to a hotel instead, but she tried to brave the situation. My sister lied and said that she told me she had invited Kate's ex to stay, and I swear in my life that isn't true. It was an extremely awkward night, and we hid in the spare room all night. Kate, still heartbroken from the breakup, asked me if there was anything going on between her ex and my sister, and I swore, truthfully, that I had no idea they even talked, let alone that he would be here, but honestly said I did not believe anything was going on between them. Long story short, there was, and my sister ended up marrying him. The ordeal prompted my friend to literally move to the other side of the country. The most recent happened yesterday. At 33, my sister called me from a different town, asking me if rumors about my friend Lily cheating on her husband with a guy called Troy are true. The incident happened years ago. Yes, she did cheat, but it wasn't with Troy. It was with someone else. I kept Lily's secret for years, and before I responded to my sister's questions, I literally asked, "Am I on speaker? Who else can hear?" etc., etc. She told me she swore it would go no further. She just wanted to know because she had suspicions about Lily and her friend's husband. Despite my alarm bells, I told her Lily's secret, trusting it would stay between sisters. It didn't. My sister spread it, and now Lily and the guy she slept with have been attacking me. Believe me, I accept that I'm guilt-ridden over my share of the blame in all of these stories. But I've also hit a point of not wanting my sister in my life, and not wanting her in my own wedding coming up. Kate and I are still close, and I want Kate to be my maid of honor, not my twin sister. This has broken my mother's heart, but I feel like I can't trust her, that she's toxic, and I don't want drama between her and Kate at my wedding. My mother just cried, and I don't know what to do. With enough time, I probably would get over it, but I've never been this serious before. Please tell me your thoughts. Why do you keep selling out your friends for her? Your sister did not cause you to lose your friend a third time. You did. You were untrustworthy and silly. But if you want to improve, stop blaming others and recognize your weakness. You know your sister is a vile snake, but you still keep getting trapped by her. The only incident that isn't your fault is when your sister got together with Kate's ex. Your sister didn't make you say what you said about Beth's dad. If you're going to be complicit in covering up your friend's affair, that means telling no one until after it has already gone public and they've split from the partner that they've cheated on. By all means, don't invite your sister to your wedding and cut her off. But you come across just as toxic and addicted to drama as she is. This comment is brutal, but absolutely spot on. Sorry, Opie. I think maybe the reason you don't want your sister in your life is because she holds up a mirror. 1. Learn to keep a secret. It's not a secret anymore if you tell someone else. 2. Pick your associations better. Your sister has a bad moral character. Why would you trust her after what she did to Kate? And why are you even friends with Lily, who is a cheater and out that burden on you to keep a secret? She can go deal with her own consequences.
Update. Am I the a-hole for siding with my dad in my parents' divorce even though he cheated? Original post. I listen to a lot of people read Reddit stories, but I've never used the platform myself. I'm in a situation where I feel I have no one else to turn to, so I made this account and I'm asking strangers on the internet. I am 15 male and the oldest of 3. My brother is the middle, 11 male, and my sister is the youngest, 8 female. My family has always been kind of messy, and I knew that from the beginning. But growing up, I always felt outcasted by my mother and her side of the family, which is mostly just her sister since my mom isn't close with her parents. I noticed this more as my brother and sister got older. It was like night and day. For example, at school, if I made some crappy painting, my mom wouldn't even look at it. But I noticed that now, with my brother but especially my sister, anything she makes is treated like it was touched by the hand of God itself and gets displayed everywhere. My aunt, my mom's sister, would never ask how my day was or talk to me much. If I wanted to tell her something, she didn't care. But with my brother and sister, she's the warmest person. So nice, so kind, so much fun. But she was never like that with me. My mom would sometimes not even set a plate for me at the table, and I had to get my own. One year, in a family Christmas card, she used a picture without me in it. I used to hear my mom and dad fight about this a lot, especially when I was younger. My dad would always ask her to try, and I think it's finally clicked for me now that I might be part of the reason for this divorce, apart from the cheating. My dad and his family were the opposite. They loved me, and I have a great relationship with my father. He's the best dad ever. A few days before my parents told us about the divorce, I got in a huge fight with my mom, and kind of my dad, but he was just there, over unrelated things. During that fight, I asked her why she didn't love me, and I think, In a moment of anger, she admitted she didn't want me and that I was a failed abortion. I don't quite know what went wrong, but in my state, abortions aren't legal, so I guess it was her being young and not having proper access or something. At that moment, my dad basically exploded on her and sent me to bed. I think I shut down after this. I just remember crying in my bed that night. I knew I was a teen pregnancy, but I thought my mom and dad pushed through that. I thought that even though I was a teen pregnancy, they still loved me and worked hard to pass high school and take care of me. When my parents sat us down and told me and my siblings they were getting divorced, I felt numb. My siblings were distraught, but I still felt numb even now. My aunt was there and told us to get ready to leave because we were going to stay with my mom for a while. In that moment, I got really upset because I did not want to go live with a woman who wanted to have me aborted, then treated me like crap throughout my life and clearly did not love me. I didn't mention the abortion part initially. So I told my aunt, mom, and dad that I didn't want to leave the house I grew up in to go stay at my aunt's house with my mom. My mother just looked sad, but I walked out of the kitchen to my bedroom to be alone. My aunt followed me and wanted to talk to me. She seemed very upset and said that my siblings look up to me. True, I'm basically a third parent to them, and that I need to be there for my mother in this hard time. I told her something like, I don't want to be there for that bitch, and my aunt got really mad. She told me I didn't understand, and that my dad cheated and I should support my mom. That's how I learned he cheated. In that moment, I honestly didn't care that he cheated. Looking back, I do think it was awful that my dad cheated on my mom. I got really mad and brought up the abortion and asked her why I should support someone who doesn't love me and didn't want me. I brought up all the things throughout my life that felt big to me. My aunt basically told me it was a complicated situation when it came to me and that I couldn't resent my mother for it. At this point, my parents came in because we were yelling. After they got her to leave, I was left alone in my room. It's been a few weeks since then, and I'm staying with my dad. My mother wants to talk to me, but I don't. I feel especially pathetic regarding my siblings. I feel like I've failed them. They really look up to me, and I'm not with them to help them through this hard time. I've basically abandoned them. I feel pathetic crying about all this when I should be proactive, calling and texting my siblings constantly. But instead, I just sit there and cry. My sister also overheard my fight with my aunt, and being 8, she didn't understand half of what we fought about. She looked it up and now thinks my mother tried to kill me. She won't accept any explanation my mom and aunt give her. My sister is distraught and thinks our mother hates me and is trying to separate us. My brother and I haven't really talked, but I think he's taking it the best out of all of us. According to my dad, my mom and aunt want to explain things to my sister, that she did not try to kill me and that my mom does not hate me. My dad does not want me to hate my mom. He wants me to talk to her because he wants me to have a relationship with her. As for how I feel about it, I don't know how I feel about the abortion stuff. I don't see it as her trying to kill me exactly. I do understand it was a teen pregnancy and a complicated situation. I think I care more that she'd treated me so terribly growing up. Looking back on everything, I don't think I can hate her for the attempted abortion. She was a scared teenager. I think I just hate her for treating me so differently and rather badly compared to my siblings growing up, and I don't want to talk to her again. As for my dad cheating, he was wrong for it. But when I look at him, I can't bring myself to truly care. And I know that makes me terrible, but I feel so conflicted. I love my dad. He's been nothing but supportive of me, in the best way a father can. But I don't want to talk to anyone. I've hardly spoken to any of my extended family, hardly spoken to my siblings, and I feel so lost but also right about my decision. Yet also like a total a-hole because my dad's a scumbag for cheating. But he doesn't act like one, and I'm supporting him even though he cheated. I'm sorry for how long this was. Am I the a-hole? I need someone to give me the cold, hard truth. Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole. You siding with the parent who has always loved and treated you well, versus the one who has othered you your entire life, makes total sense. And you have every right to not want to see your mom right now. You are the third parent, and if she's missing anything right now, it's likely your labor. 2 kids are a lot, and it's about time she found that out. She's resented you all your life while you loved her all of yours. That's a hard thing to forgive, and it's best you don't try right now. Talk to your dad about having your siblings visit you at the house. I'm sure they miss it and you. But also talk to him about the affair. What exactly was his intention? Was this a one-time mistake on his part, or did he eventually plan on moving this woman into the house? Because him letting your siblings go makes sense since they're underage, and I assume he works. It just seems odd your mom gave up rights to the house by moving out and intended to take all of you with her. That was either to punish him or by his request. You need to know which in order to plan accordingly. She moved out because I don't know the logistics, but it's either my family doesn't actually own the house and we just live in it, and my grandparents on my dad's side own it, or my dad owns half the property. Either way, it's an inherited property from my great-grandparents, and as far as I know, my mom's name isn't on any documents for it, so I think that means my grandparents probably own it. A part of me believes I am only a third parent to her, and another part wants to believe that she weirdly misses me. Because like someone else commented, maybe me laying it out to her made her open her eyes. I don't really want to know the logistics of Dad's affair, but I'll definitely ask if the woman will be moving in, because I don't think I'll feel good about that. As for why she expected to take all of us, I think in terms of how close we are to the parents. I'm close with my dad, my brother is extremely close to my mom, and my sister is kind of caught in the middle. I think it's also just typical, or at least from what friends have said, that kids go with the mom until custody arrangements are made. Either way, a lot of people are saying to talk to my father about moving forward, and I think I will. Thank you for your advice. Now for the update. A small update from the original post. I hardly slept last night and I felt terrible at school, so my dad picked me up and we went out to lunch. When we got home, I finally had built up enough courage to ask him questions about what was on my mind and things brought up by people in my post. The conversation was surprisingly productive and honest. I mentioned in a comment on my original post that in my family we never really talked about hard things or feelings. But basically, my dad and I had a conversation like this. I asked my dad about his affair partner and basically what happened there. This was something I wanted to know but also didn't, but I still decided to ask in case she would be moving in. My dad explained that his affair went on for 5 months, that he felt drained with my mother, and that he made a terrible decision. He said the affair was discovered not because my mom went through his phone or anything, but because he confessed. The longer it went on, the more disgusting my dad felt. He said he felt like a terrible father coming home to his kids after cheating on their mother. My dad says he is not going to be talking to the woman anymore at all and plans on not dating or marrying anyone new until my siblings and I are all adults. The next thing I asked about, which I didn't really mention in the post, was his part in my mom trying to end the pregnancy and what happened back then. He said he actually didn't know she was pregnant until about 1 to 2 weeks before I was born. He also explained the gist of what my mother told him, but my dad doesn't know the exact details, so everything I say here is all he knows as well. My mom found out she was pregnant at 16 or 17 years old and told my aunt. They panicked, but my aunt tried taking my mother to get an abortion. My mom's parents found out and did not allow my mother to end the pregnancy. Even after that, my aunt still tried again to help my mom get an abortion, but this second attempt was discovered. And after that, my mom's parents sent my aunt to live with relatives until after my mom gave birth. That's what happened, so I think that means I'm not technically a failed abortion, just a prevented one. I don't think it makes much of a difference though. On the brighter side, my grandparents are going to take my siblings and me out this weekend to do some fun stuff to take our minds off all the chaos. I'm looking forward to that, since I hope that with my grandparents around, I won't have to answer many questions. And of course, I get to see my siblings. I am also feeling better. Writing my feelings out, even if it was for strangers on Reddit, helped. I did not bring up the topic of therapy with my father like many people suggested, but I am going to write my mom a letter and start journaling. Despite what many people said, I am going to have a conversation with my mother after I give her my letter and she reads and processes it. I don't know when that will be, but probably soon. I want to thank everyone who commented on the original post. I don't think I even read through half the comments, but almost all the ones I did read had great advice. Many people asked me to update them, so here it is. I don't know if I did the update correctly since this is my first time using Reddit. This is a nice update. I'm glad you had a good conversation with your dad. This is another sign that you've made the right decision for you. He's clearly a safe space for you when your mom isn't. On that note, did you ask him about how her neglect of you affected their marriage? You indicated in your last post that you saw it, so I was wondering if it came up. I suspect it is at the root of what pushed your dad to the affair. It wouldn't excuse cheating, but it would be a very understandable explanation. We did talk about that, but I didn't want to make the update too long, and it was mostly my father just apologizing a lot. He didn't mention it being the root of the affair, but I don't know what goes on inside his head. He didn't really give me a reason for the affair, but I think I'm okay not knowing one. People make mistakes, but at least your dad owned his. I truly understand why you felt unloved by your mom, and I applaud you for thinking about having a conversation with her. Perhaps she will finally own up to her mistreatment of you over the years, which may be harder to forgive. Last story. Am I the a-hole for not completely changing my kid's life just to accommodate her father? I, 35 female, was with my ex, Tom, 40 male, for a few years before having our daughter, 10 female. When she was a few weeks old, he moved out and in with another woman, and he has rarely been involved since. I finally put him on child support a few years ago, and you'd think he was father of the year for paying $300 a month. He never really had custody. I never kept her from him, but I wasn't going to chase him around trying to force him to be involved. Last year, he remarried Peggy, 45 female, and is now asking for more custody. Obviously, I talked to my daughter's therapist and agreed to every other weekend for now. I'm not forcing my kid to change her life just because Tom now wants to play family. The problem is that Tom and Peggy's house is just miserable for my daughter. I'm trying to keep her positive about it, but honestly, they're just not the kind of people or behaviors she's used to. They yell a lot, don't care about hygiene or keeping a clean house, nothing CPS would do anything about, but it does not meet normal standards, much less mine, and she hates Peggy's kids. There are 5 kids total, but 2 are older and out on their own. Peggy still has a 17-year-old son, a 12-year-old daughter, and a son my daughter's age, and they're basically feral. There's just no supervision over there. They're always on their phones, and there's no structure. My daughter plays soccer, and they were 45 minutes late to her game last weekend and didn't think it was that big of a deal. She was texting me freaking out that she'd be late, and when I called Tom, he screamed at me for calling. Tom and Peggy also live out in the boonies. It's about a 25 to 30-minute drive from my house to theirs. I told him when he started coming around that I had no intention of driving hours or changing any aspects of our lives to accommodate him, and he promised it wouldn't be a problem. Now here we are, and he's saying we need to set up a meeting point or switch off handovers. I'm already mad that my daughter needs to be in a car for so long just because Peggy needs to have a lot of property. I told him no way. He was the one that chose to live so far from us. He can do the driving. Finally, his most outrageous request has been to take my kid out of her school. She got into our district's competitive magnet school. It's not easy, and we both worked hard for it. Me filling out the forms and setting up meetings, her earning admission on her own merits. Tom says that his stepkids, that he's apparently adopting by the way, are jealous of what my daughter gets to do at school, and he wants to enroll her in their public school. Not happening. My daughter has male role models, ones who actually care about her well-being and not just social media clout. Tom can say he'll go to court, but I'll believe that when I see it. He has no gumption, and honestly, I doubt a judge would side with him anyway. I've always had full custody, have never kept her from him, but I need to stick up for my kid. Does that make me the a-hole? Stop these visits. Lawyer up. Your daughter isn't happy going there. What are you doing? Her opinion counts. If she doesn't want to go, she shouldn't have to. Make sure you tell the school he is not allowed to move her out. My ex did that while he had a child in August and just brought her to the new school on the first day, then told me, talk to your lawyer. He can't just swoop in now and start demanding changes to your systems. It's causing your daughter distress. Have her discuss this with her therapist if she has one. Good luck and good for you keeping your little girl stable and safe. Not the a-hole. I have full custody, legal and decision-making, so he couldn't do that. I did get her a therapist for all of this, but can only afford for her to see her monthly. Tom said he'd help pay, but now refuses.